100 million years in the future, a warm, shallow sea stretches for thousands of kilometers. Only 50 meters deep at most, the sea covers what was once dry land. The shallow water is full of strange, plant-like structures. And bizarre creatures that thrive in the sunlight and the warmth. Some spend all their time underwater, while others float on the surface. In 100 million years' time, the climate is warm and stable, and the sea level 150 meters higher than today. This is an ocean phantom. Ocean phantoms are huge. They can grow up to 10 meters long. Yet this complex-looking creature is really a jellyfish.
The ocean phantom is an enormous floating jellyfish. It's not just any kind of jellyfish, though. It's a specialized jellyfish called a siphonophore. And 100 million years from now, it's the largest creature floating in the oceans. But in today's seas, we have large siphonophores. They're called Portuguese men-of-war. They're made up of not just one jellyfish, but a whole collection, a colony of individual smaller jellyfish that play different roles in the colony. And some of them are used for catching food, and some of them are used for digesting food, and some of them are used for propulsion, and some of them are used for making babies. Now, in 100 million years, the ocean phantom takes this basic design to a whole new dimension. It's the largest thing floating in the sea. It's a collection of these specialized jellyfish that all play different roles, and it has an enormous impact on the reef environment.
The ocean phantom is made of separate jellyfish, each with their own role to play. Some of them form sails, which harness the wind and carry the ocean phantom across the surface. Others act as large floats, and yet others hang below the surface, members of the colony that reach down and grab the phantom's food. An ocean phantom is like a floating city. A whole community supporting itself as it's blown across the ocean to cruise the shallow sea, searching out the richest areas where it might find food. And the best place to search is a reef, where, swimming among the plant structures, are reef gliders. Reef gliders aren't fish, but swimming sea slugs. Sea slugs are around today. They're marine snails without an obvious shell. Brightly colored, flamboyant, most sea slugs live on the ocean bed. And they're carnivores. In the future, sea slugs are not so brightly colored, but they're much more mobile.
These sea slugs have given up crawling, but they've taken up flying through the water. They fly by flapping wings along either side, and they have a whole series of wings down their sides. And it turns out that the order in which these wings beat is very important to efficient propulsion.
The wings beat in turn, starting at the back, rippling towards the front of the glider. Swimming like this, a reef glider can patrol more than 80 kilometers of reef each day. In a warm, shallow sea like this, you'd expect to find a coral reef. But here, there's something different. Instead of coral, these strange plant-like structures grow from hard limestone turrets and cover the seabed. They've built a reef-like structure just like coral.
In the future, when red algae make huge reefs, they have to face the same problem that red algae have had to face their entire history. And that's that when they reproduce, their sperm cells can't swim. They can only crawl from one individual to another, and across huge reefs, that's just too far. So in modern days, we see this all the time.
This tiny trapezoid crab lives among stag's horn coral and protects its home from coral-eating starfish. It nips at the sensitive feet with sharp claws, making the starfish think twice about attacking that particular coral. Ocean-going petrels turning into colorful seabirds. Even that's possible, because they could adapt over millions of years to the shallow sea. In the future, there are so many reef gliders among the reefs. This is why the ocean phantom comes here to feed. The problem is catching such active little creatures.
On the underneath of the ocean phantom are some sinister bell-looking objects. And what they are the mouths of the whole colony. So why does the ocean phantom get food from both sides? Using photosynthesis and sunlight from above, but still hunting below? Well, the algae provide a lot of energy, but it's like a diet of sugar cubes. It's just carbohydrate. Where do the other elements come from that the algae themselves need to grow? The proteins, the nitrogen, the phosphate, all of the other elements have to come from below when the ocean phantom feeds.
So the phantom catches reef gliders. But the reef gliders it eats are only babies, and eating someone else's babies is a dangerous game. Especially as the phantom is only a huge floating jelly with no obvious means of defense. All the time that the phantom is hunting baby reef gliders, the adult reef gliders are hunting it. Like their sea slug ancestors, they're carnivores.
The adult sea slugs, the reef gliders, feed on the ocean phantoms. They find them by swimming through the sea, picking up the scent of the ocean phantoms. They have horns on their head that pick that scent out of the water and allow them to direct their swimming right towards their prey.
An ocean phantom looks like easy prey for a big reef glider. But the phantom does have a defense. It has its own private army. Spindle Troopers. Huge sea spiders that live in the chambers on the phantom rush to its defense. The phantom doesn't get something for nothing. It has to feed its bodyguard of Spindle Troopers.
The defenders of the ocean phantom are sea spiders, these Spindle Troopers, about a meter long. And they're defending the ocean phantom against its predators because the ocean phantom is their home, and that's where they get their food from. Channels that go into the bells that the Spindle Troopers live in actually provide food to the Spindle Troopers from the ocean phantom itself. So this huge colony, this huge siphonophore is feeding its defenders in order to use them to drive off the predators.
In these crowded, shallow seas, partnerships are a good way of increasing the odds of survival. A warm, shallow sea full of strange new life. Plants that have entered a partnership with reef gliders. The ocean phantom that supports its army of sea spiders. And reproduces by riding a storm. As the shallow seas have spread over the planet, evolution has taken advantage of this rich habitat and created some bizarre creatures living in amazing partnerships.